There comes a time in every journey when the path darkens, when the cheers fade and the silence of self-doubt creeps in, when you question your purpose, your plan, and even your worth. It is in this moment, not when things are easy, but when the road feels unbearable, that your greatest power is born. The world doesn't reward effort alone. It rewards relentless effort, undeniable belief, and unyielding will. The ones who win are not the ones who never fell, but the ones who fell 1,000 times and still stood up with fire in their eyes. When life feels like it's collapsing around you, it's easy to believe that everything is coming to an end. You feel like the ground beneath your feet has vanished, and you're falling into a darkness you never asked for. But that moment, that very feeling of despair, is not the end. It's the beginning of a trial, a divine examination of your endurance, your mindset, and your spirit. In the face of adversity, life doesn't ask you to surrender. It demands that you rise. The challenges you face are not here to break you. They are here to reveal you. In every person, there lies an untapped reservoir of strength. Most never discover it because they're never pushed far enough to dig for it. It's only when the wind howls hardest, when the nights are longest, and when every door seems to close, that we're invited to go inward and meet the part of ourselves that refuses to give up. That part isn't loud or flashy. It's steady, quiet, and fierce. It's your inner power, the part of you that doesn't need approval, applause, or permission to keep moving forward. These difficult chapters in your life are not written to define your limitations, but to expand your possibilities. You are not here to be crushed by circumstance. You are here to prove that you are greater than anything that tries to stop you. True power is never born in comfort. It is sculpted in chaos. And the times when your plans fall apart, when people walk away, when success feels unreachable, that's when you are given the sacred opportunity to discover how deep your roots really grow. It is no coincidence that your greatest lessons have come through hardship. Pain is not just a burden, it is a teacher. It teaches you patience when everything is delayed. It teaches you faith when nothing is clear. It teaches you grit when your body is tired and your heart is heavy. The harder the road, the stronger the traveler must become. And if you're walking a hard path right now, know this: you are being prepared for something greater than what you ask for. Inner power is not loud. It's not found in speeches, social media posts, or surface-level motivation. It's found in your decisions when no one is watching. It's in the choice to wake up and try again, to push one more inch forward when your energy is gone. It's the refusal to allow failure to have the final say. You don't need to shout about your strength. You just need to show up again and again until the storm passes, and it will pass. People often look at struggle as a sign that they should stop, but the struggle itself is a signal. It means something valuable is on the other side. Every storm you endure is a spiritual investment in the person you're becoming. Strength isn't something you're given. It's something you earn, rep by choice, day by day. If your current chapter is painful, it means your transformation is underway. Understand this: no one becomes a champion without a battlefield. No one builds mental muscle without pressure. Every hero you admire, every success story that moves you, was built on a foundation of hardship. They didn't win because life was easy for them. They won because they discovered who they really were when everything got hard. And now, it's your turn. You were not built to break. You were built to bend, stretch, learn, adapt, and evolve. And the moment you stop seeing tough times as punishment and start seeing them as preparation, that's when everything begins to shift. The end is not near. The end is an illusion. This moment, this hardship, is simply asking you a question. How bad do you want it? And what are you willing to become to claim it? We live in a world that often worships natural talent. From a young age, we're taught to admire those who were born gifted, the fastest, the smartest, the most charismatic. But what rarely gets celebrated is the silent force behind every long-term success: persistence. While talent may open the first door, it is persistence that kicks down the rest. Talent may win applause, but persistence wins victories. Talent might get you started, but only relentless effort keeps you going when inspiration fades and the path turns dark. There are countless stories of people with extraordinary potential who never made it. Not because they lacked ability, but because they gave up too soon. They stopped at the first failure. They walked away when it got hard. They let temporary setbacks write their final story. Talent without commitment is like a powerful engine with no fuel. It looks impressive, but it won't take you anywhere. And this is where the persistent person wins. The one who shows up daily, trains through the pain, studies late into the night, and keeps pushing long after motivation dies out. You don't need to be the most talented person in the room. You just need to be the most determined. The one who's willing to repeat, revise, and rise. You must be the one who understands that success is a long-distance run, not a sprint. And the race belongs to the person who's still moving when everyone else has sat down. Persistence is the discipline to do it again. Not perfectly, but consistently. Because the persistent person knows that progress is messy, slow, and often invisible until it's not. What most people call overnight success is simply the final chapter of a long, silent battle. The public sees the result. They don't see the 10,000 attempts, the lonely nights, the rejections, the mistakes, or the tears. They don't see the early mornings or the inner conversations where quitting almost won. But those are the moments where persistence is built. That's where you either fold or forge. That's where your inner fire is tested. And if you keep going, that's when you prove that willpower outlasts raw skill every time. The difference between success and failure often boils down to a single decision repeated 1,000 times: I will not give up today. Talent may help you avoid certain mistakes, but persistence helps you grow through every mistake. Talent might make a job easier at the start, but persistence builds the character to sustain it for a lifetime. Persistence isn't glamorous. It doesn't shine or shout. It just works day in and day out until the world can no longer ignore your progress. There will be days when your effort seems to produce nothing. No rewards, no recognition, no forward motion, and that's exactly where most people give up. But if you can keep going when nothing around you validates your grind, that's when you become unstoppable. It's not about being perfect. It's about being unshakable in your commitment to the goal. If you stay long enough, learn fast enough, and adapt boldly enough, the game will tilt in your favor, simply because you refuse to leave the arena. Every industry, every craft, every dream is eventually ruled by the persistent. Because talent will get tired. It will take shortcuts. It will expect things to be easy. But the persistent person doesn't flinch when things go wrong. They expect resistance, and they keep going anyway. They turn obstacles into data, failures into feedback, and delays into deeper determination. The persistent person doesn't ask, can I do this? They ask, how many times will I try until I do this? In the end, the greatest power you can cultivate is not brilliance. It is grit. Not instant results, but lasting resolve. When the talented fall behind because they stop showing up, you will still be there, grinding in silence, focused on growth and rising higher with every setback. And that, more than anything else, is how legacies are built. The world will always have something to say. People will judge, criticize, mock, question, and dismiss, especially when you dare to step outside the box they feel comfortable in. But the greatest danger isn't what others think of you. It's what you start believing because of what they say. That's why self-belief isn't optional. It's not a luxury. It's your shield. Without it, you will crumble under the weight of opinions that were never yours to carry. You must develop a belief in yourself that is louder than the noise around you. This doesn't mean you're arrogant. It means you're anchored. Anchored in your vision, in your effort, and in your potential. Because when everyone else tells you that your dream is impossible, your belief must whisper back, watch me. If that voice inside you is too quiet, you'll get drowned in their doubt. But if your self-belief is louder, you'll turn their doubt into fuel. It's not uncommon to be surrounded by people who mean well, yet constantly remind you to be realistic. They'll tell you to settle down, to slow down, to give up before you get hurt. Not because they want you to fail, but because they never succeeded. Their warnings often come from fear, not insight. And if you don't have a strong foundation of self-trust, you'll start shrinking your dreams to fit into their comfort zones. But you weren't made to live in someone else's fear. You were made to live in your own faith. The truth is, no one else can see the vision inside your mind. No one else feels the passion that pulses through your chest. That vision is yours, and it's real, even if it's invisible to the world right now. If you let the absence of validation become a reason to stop, you'll never reach the point where your vision becomes visible. The process always demands belief before results. You must act like it's already possible, even when no one claps, no one watches, and no one agrees. Self-belief is forged in silence. When you're grinding alone, failing quietly, and doubting everything, but still choosing to show up. Every time you choose to try again, you strengthen your inner foundation. Every step you take while carrying doubt builds the muscles of faith. It's not the absence of fear that makes someone powerful. It's their ability to keep moving in spite of it. When your belief in yourself becomes non-negotiable, the outside world loses its power to define you. Even the most successful people were doubted. They were laughed at, rejected, ignored, and underestimated. But their secret wasn't luck or connections. It was their conviction. The ability to look failure in the eye and say, "You're just a part of the process." The courage to speak life into their goals when the crowd only spoke limitations. They were willing to be the only believer in the room until the world finally caught up. You must be willing to carry your dream alone before anyone sees it, supports it, or understands it. The moment you stop waiting for someone else to approve your mission, you reclaim your power. Self-belief becomes a daily decision. It's a commitment to bet on yourself, no matter the odds, because when you bet on yourself long enough, consistently enough, something incredible happens. Your actions begin to prove your belief was right all along. So when the world tries to talk you out of your purpose, don't get angry, get focused. Let their doubt remind you to believe harder. Let their disbelief sharpen your drive, because your future doesn't belong to their opinions. It belongs to your belief in what's possible. And the deeper that belief runs, the less noise can shake you. Growth does not happen in your comfort zone. That space, the one that feels safe, predictable, and controlled, is not where transformation takes place. It's where routines live, where the familiar keeps you still, and where dreams quietly suffocate under the weight of ease. The truth many run from is this: discomfort isn't your enemy, it's your invitation. Every time life feels uncomfortable, it's nudging you toward your next level. It's asking, are you willing to stretch past what's easy in order to become something greater? Fear, too, plays its role. It stands like a wall between where you are and where you're meant to go. But fear isn't there to stop you. It's there to signal you. It means you're standing on the edge of expansion. It means you're doing something that matters. If it didn't scare you, it wouldn't change you. The key is not to eliminate fear. That's impossible. The key is to move with it, to walk through the fear and prove to yourself over and over that you are more powerful than any emotion trying to hold you back. Discomfort is the gym for your character. It's where your courage is trained, where your confidence is earned, and where your identity is rewritten. Every time you step into something hard, whether it's a tough conversation, a bold move, a new beginning, or a higher challenge, you are building something within that no one can take away. You may feel like you're failing, stumbling, or unsure, but what's really happening is growth beneath the surface, unseen, quiet, but real. The mistake most people make is thinking that pain is punishment, that struggle is a sign to turn around. But what if it's a sign to lean in? What if the pain isn't there to break you, but to rebuild you, stronger, sharper, more aware? The ones who grow the most aren't the ones who avoid the fire. They're the ones who walk through it and come out the other side with wisdom in their eyes and fire in their bones. You don't grow by staying safe. You grow by walking straight into the places you once avoided. Every breakthrough you're hoping for, every level of strength, skill, confidence, and impact you desire is hiding behind something uncomfortable, and no one gets to skip the discomfort. The price of growth is always paid in the currency of uncertainty, effort, and risk. If you're feeling resistance right now, that's not a problem, that's a promise. A sign that what you're doing matters and that you're about to rise into someone you've never been before. Fear will whisper every reason why you should stop. It will present logical arguments wrapped in emotional chains. It will show you worst-case scenarios, magnify your flaws, and highlight every past failure. But if you can hear all of that noise and still take the next step, that's growth. not because you avoided fear, but because you overruled it. And every time you do, it gets quieter. Every time you defy it, you get louder. It's not comfortable to pursue growth. It means outgrowing identities, shedding false beliefs, and sometimes walking away from people who only knew the smaller version of you. It's painful to let go of what you thought life would look like. But there is no power in staying small to make others feel big. There is no peace in shrinking your potential to fit a version of yourself that no longer feels true. If discomfort shows up on your journey, embrace it. It means you're becoming. The version of you that you're dreaming of is already out there, on the other side of the hard thing you're avoiding. And the only way to meet that version is to move. Not perfectly, not fearlessly, but willingly. Discomfort is the door, fear is the threshold. And growth is waiting just beyond both, with your name already written on it. The visible can be misleading. It shows you what is, but never what could be. It traps you in the now, tempts you to accept limitations, and conditions you to believe that your current circumstances are the final truth. But vision, real vision, is the ability to see beyond the surface. It's the ability to look at failure and still believe in success. It's to stare at lack and still believe in abundance. It's to see nothing in your hands but everything in your future. The person with vision sees things differently. Where others see endings, they see beginnings. Where others see obstacles, they see openings. They aren't blind to reality, they just refuse to be defined by it. Vision is the inner picture that keeps you moving when the outer world offers no proof. It's the deep knowing that something greater exists on the other side of effort, even when the scoreboard still says 0. When you have vision, you don't need validation. You move because the future is calling, not because the present is clapping. This is why the visible is dangerous for the dreamer. It creates doubt. It seduces you into believing that progress must be instantly seen to be real, but most progress is invisible at first. It's quiet. It's happening deep inside you, restructuring your thoughts, rebuilding your resilience, preparing you for the very thing you asked for. Vision demands patience. It's a contract between your belief and your actions, often signed long before the results show up. If you keep looking only at what's visible, you'll quit too early and settle too small. When you're walking by vision, you may feel misunderstood. People won't always get what you're doing because they're only looking at what you can show, not what you can see. They'll measure your progress by metrics that mean nothing to your mission. But your job isn't to convince them. Your job is to stay locked in on the picture that only you were given. Not everyone will see the mountain you're climbing. Some will laugh at the gear you're carrying. But you don't drop the climb just because they can't see the summit. Vision is what pulls you through when motivation fades. It speaks when results are silent. It fuels you when the crowd walks away. A person with vision doesn't need perfect conditions. They create conditions through their conviction. You might not have the resources, the timing, or the support, but if you have vision, you're already richer than you know. Because vision is the blueprint of greatness, and once you have it, it's your duty to protect it like gold and guard it like fire. The visible often lies. It says nothing is happening. It says you're not moving. It says give up, but vision counters back. Keep going. Something is building. Trust what you started. You must learn to listen to that inner voice louder than the outer noise, because the truth is your life will move in the direction of your dominant focus. If you keep looking at what's wrong, what's lacking, and what's missing, you'll never rise into what's possible. But if you stay focused on the vision, even if it's still blurry, your steps will begin to match your sight. Many never reach their next level, not because they're incapable, but because they stop trusting the invisible. They let the delay convince them it's denial. They let temporary absence convince them that the future won't arrive. But nothing great is ever built on what's immediately seen. It's always built first on what's believed. You must hold the vision even when it's heavy, even when it's lonely, even when it seems foolish, because the vision you hold is the seed of the reality you will grow. Let the visible guide your awareness, but let your vision guide your decisions. Don't get distracted by what's lacking around you. Don't lose focus just because the applause hasn't started. The real work happens in the silence, and the real leaders, the real change makers, the real winners, they are the ones who kept walking long before the spotlight found them. Their compass was never the crowd, it was always the calling. Motivation is a spark. It's exciting, it's loud, it lights you up for a moment, gives you a glimpse of what's possible, and floods your mind with energy, but it fades, it burns out, and when it does, most people stop. They pause their goals, they put their dreams on hold, waiting for that spark to return. But the ones who win, they don't rely on that spark, they rely on discipline. The quiet, consistent force that keeps moving forward even when the fire's gone out. Discipline doesn't wait for the perfect mood, the right weather, or someone to cheer you on. It shows up regardless. It wakes you up early, pushes you through the grind, and reminds you that progress is built in silence, not just in moments of inspiration. When the feeling fades, discipline takes over. It says, we do it anyway. It becomes your foundation when motivation becomes a ghost. And in the long game of growth, it's not how fired up you are, it's how faithful you are. There will be days you don't feel like it, days when your energy is low, when your mind is cloudy, when your heart is heavy. Those are not signs to stop. They are opportunities to prove your discipline. Anyone can act when it's easy. Anyone can show up when they're motivated. But greatness is revealed in the days you don't feel like doing the work and still do. That's when you're not just participating, you're becoming. Discipline is a decision, not an emotion. It's the decision to keep your promise to yourself, even after the feeling that made you commit has left the room. It's what separates dreamers from doers. While motivation might get you to the gym on Monday, discipline gets you there on Friday when your body's sore and your schedule's packed. It's what keeps your vision alive during seasons of silence, setbacks, and slow results. Motivation starts the journey, discipline finishes it. People often chase motivation like it's a drug, scrolling through quotes, waiting for inspiration to strike, hoping for a breakthrough moment. But the truth is, real breakthroughs happen in the trenches. They happen in early mornings, late nights, tired muscles, and relentless repetition. Discipline isn't glamorous, but it's powerful. It builds habits that carry you when motivation would have left you stranded. It builds character in the shadows, not in the spotlight. You don't need to feel like it to do it. That single truth will change everything. Waiting to feel ready will paralyze you. Waiting to feel inspired will delay your destiny. But discipline removes the waiting. It says, I made a decision, I'm doing it no matter what. That mindset builds trust in yourself because every disciplined action becomes a vote for the person you're becoming, and that consistency starts to compound into results that no amount of hype ever could. Discipline is uncomfortable. It asks you to trade pleasure for purpose. It tells you to say no when distractions look good and yes when effort feels hard. But it is within that resistance that power is born. You begin to realize that discipline isn't the enemy of freedom, it's the gateway to it. It gives you control over your mind, your habits, your life. It puts you back in the driver's seat when the world tries to pull you off track. And while the world celebrates flashes of brilliance, it's discipline that builds legacies. The ones who achieve mastery, build empires, and shape history didn't just rely on motivation. They mastered discipline. Day after day, choice after choice, they planted seeds most never see and kept watering them long after others had walked away. That's the difference. And that's the mindset that separates those who wish from those who win.